Hello Tamers, and welcome to round 6 of the Dimensional Phase Outbreak, the fated rematch between Xros Heart and Bagra Army. Bagramon has the first move. Security setup. Digimon standby. Let's open the digital gates. Hatching, Dimensional evolves into Shoutmon. Then, for 3 cost, the tamer Yuamano is played. Turnover, hatching, Pikmons evolves into Starmons. Then, for 4 cost, Shoutmon is played. On play, the top 3 cards of the deck are searched for 1 Xros Heart Tamer and 1 Xros Heart Digimon. 2 and 3, there we go! The triple tamers Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene are added to the hand, along with Ballistamon. Turnover, Shoutmon moves out and immediately goes for security. Check. But oh, it is another copy of the triple tamers, now played for free, which is a bit unfortunate for the Bagra Army because now they don't get to save Shoutmon under you. Using the 2-Armon from the hand as Digicross material, they will play Mad Leomon for 5-2, 3 cost and turnover, Starmons moves out. Now at the start of the main phase, Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene activate their effects. By placing 1 Xros Heart or Blue Flare Digimon from your hand under this tamer, gain 1 memory and draw 1 card. So placing Sparrowmon +1 and draw. But that triggers Mad Leomon's effects during the opponent's turn once per turn when an effect adds cards to your opponent's hand. By trashing one of this Digimon's evolution cards, your opponent must trash cards in their hand equal to the number of cards added to their hand by the effect. So Xros Heart is going to discard Shoutmon plus Star Sword. And with 2-Armons inheritable, a signature of the Bagra Army, during the opponent's turn when this evolution card is trashed by an effect, they steal back 1 memory. Now Starmons goes for security, 1 draw if Pikmon's inheritable. Check. 12k DP on Lilithmon, it is taken out but on delete save. Shoutmon goes for security as well on 2k. Check. But it is the option card, Buzzing Fist. On security, you may play 1 Yuamano from your hand or trash at no cost, then add this card to your hand. Now Xros Heart doesn't quite have their pieces assembled just yet, so for 4 cost, they are going to play the other copy of the triple tamers they previously searched in. Turnover, active, draw, hatching, Dimensional. First, Shoutmon will go for security. Check. 4k on Ballistamon, it is taken out on delete save, triggering you on all turns. Once per turn when a purple card is placed under this tamer, draw 1 card and gain 1 memory. And with Dimensional's inheritable, 1 draw, and from the hand they will trash Astral Snatcher. Next, Mad Leomon goes for security. Check. But it is the option card, Fireball. On security, activate main, delete 1 opposing Digimon with 3k DP or less, but since there are no targets, draw 2 cards instead. Now for 2 cost, the Bagra Army will play Buzzing Fist. With its main effect, the top 3 cards of the deck are searched for 1 Bagra Army card, the remaining are trashed. Then 1 Bagra Army Digimon from the trash can be placed under one of your tamers. 1, 2, and 3. They are going to search Blastmon, the remaining are trashed, and the trashed Dimensional is placed under the second U, triggering it for 1 draw and another plus memory. Now the Dimensional in the raising area evolves into Soundbirdmon, and finally, using Troopmon from the hand as Digicross material, another Mad Leomon will be played for 5-2, 3 cost, passing over at 1. Turnover, active, draw, hatching, Pikmons. At the start of the main phase, Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene trigger once again, placing Ballistamon, memory +1 and a draw. But once again, Mad Leomon triggers, trashing the Troopmon from its evolution cards. Xros Heart chooses to discard their 3rd copy of the triple tamers, and the Bagra Army steals back 1 memory. But Xros Heart currently doesn't only have 3 tamers on their field, they have 6. So if the 2nd copy, Dorulumon, is placed, memory +1 and draw. Then the Pikmons in the raising area evolves into Sparrowmon. However, it's a bit difficult for Xros Heart to go on the offensive now because they only have 2 security remaining, and the Bagra Army has 3 attackers the next turn, including a Blastmon in reserve. So they have no choice. Without attacking with Shoutmon, for 4 cost, Shoutmon will super evolve into Omega Shoutmon. 1 draw. On evolve, delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with a DP of 4000 or less. If this Digimon has Shoutmon in its evolution cards, delete 2 of your opponent's Digimon with a DP of 4000 or less instead. So with this effect, both Mad Leomons are instantly burned, but with their on delete save, they each go under one of the U's, triggering both for memory +2 2 draw and turn over. Soundbirdmon moves out and immediately goes for security. On attack, by placing 1 purple Digimon from your hand under one of your tamers, draw 1 card. Now, although a bit blasphemous, they will now place Bagramon under one of the U's for 1 draw and triggering you for another memory +1 and draw. Now check. 13k on Shoutmon cross 7. Soundbirdmon is taken out, but again, on deletes, save. Triggering the other U, another memory and draw. And with Demi-Maramon's inheritable, 1 draw, and they will choose to trash you from the hand. And now, with U's second effect. During your turn, once per turn, when you would play a level 4 or higher Bagra Army Digimon, by placing up to 3 purple Digimon from under your tamers in the played Digimon's evolution cards, reduce the play cost of the Digimon by 2 for each card placed. So with 3 materials from the lower U and 2 materials from the upper one, one of the Bagra Army's 3 generals, the sinister seductress Lilithmon, will be played. At play cost 11 with 5 materials placed by U's effect, that's 11 minus 10, 1 cost. On play, trash the top 4 cards of your deck. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then add up to 2 Bagra Army cards from your trash to your hand and place up to 2 Bagra Army Digimon from your trash under one of your tamers. So let's take a look at the Bagra Army's trash. First, they are going to add Mad Leomon Armed Mode and Chikurimon to the hand, while Damemon and a Troopmon are placed under the lower U. Next, for 2 cost, they will play Buzzing Fist. 1, 2, and 3. They choose to add another Armed Mode to their hand, trash the remaining, and this Chikurimon is placed under the upper U. Finally, using Chikurimon from the hand as Digicross material, Mad Leomon Armed Mode is played. His Digicross conditions are Mad Leomon X1 Bagra Army Digimon. Since 1 material was placed, that's 6 minus 2 for 4 cost, passing over at 1 end, turn over. But Sparrowmon is kept in the raising area because, with Lilithmon's effect, during the opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon moves from the breeding area, by trashing 1 card in this Digimon's evolution cards, the Digimon gains, on attack, lose 3 memory for the turn. So although Xros Heart could play around the 3 memory loss by attacking with Sparrowmon last, they can't avoid the fact that by moving Sparrowmon out, Lilithmon will be allowed to trash one of her evolution cards and steal 1 memory, constraining the plays they can make this turn. At the start of the main phase, of course, Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene, Omega Shoutmon is placed under them, memory +1 and a draw. But this triggers Armed Mode's effects during the opponent's turn. Once per turn, when an effect adds cards to your opponent's hand, by trashing one of this Digimon's evolution cards, draw 2. So by trashing Chikurimon, 2 draw. And of course, Chikurimon has the signature inheritable of the Bagra Army, so they steal 1 memory. But with the second triplet tamers, Greymon is now placed under them to gain back that memory and draw. Now first, Omega Shoutmon goes for security on its 8k DP. Check. 1k DP on Chikurimon, trashed. And with that, the moment of reckoning has finally arrived. Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene will now unite their cross-loaders. During your turn, when you play 1 Digimon with Digicross requirements, by suspending this tamer, you may place cards from under your tamers as evolution cards for the Digicross. So suspending them using Omega Shoutmon, Greymon, Ballistamon, Dorulumon, Starmons, and Sparrowmon from underneath their tamers.
Omega Shoutmon!
Okay!
Greymon!
Ballistamon! Dorulumon!
Starmon!
Hi!
Sparrowmon!
Great Cross! The 6 will unite into the massive hero destined to be king, Shoutmon Cross 7. His Digicross requirements are Omega Shoutmon x Greymon x Ballistamon x Dorulumon x Starmons x Sparrowmon on Digicross -2. Since all 6 specified materials were placed, that's 14 minus 12. 2 cost, it is still their turn. On all turns, for every 2 cards in this Digimon's evolution cards, it gets plus 1k DP, so rising to a total of 16k. And on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's. So now, with its 7 victorized, Lilithmon is absolutely annihilated. And since it has rushed, it goes for security. With Starmon's inheritable, 1 draw. And with Omega Shoutmons, during your turn, while this Digimon has Shoutmon in its name, it gains security attack +1. So that's 2 checks on 16k. First, 1k on Soundbirdmon, trashed. Final security check for the Bagra Army, and it is 1k DP on Choo-Choo-Mon, simply eradicated. Finally, to make sure the Bagra Army doesn't get too much memory, for 2 cost, the Sparrowmon in the raising area will evolve into Ballistamon. Turn over. With the reboot gain from Sparrowmon's Inheritable, Cross 7 unsuspends. And with G-Greymon's Inheritable during the opponent's turn while this Digimon has Blue Flare in its traits, it gains Blocker. And Cross 7 has both Xros Heart and Blue Flare in its traits. Draw, hatching, Demi-Meramon. First, Armed Mode will go for security, hoping to be deleted. Cross 7 doesn't block. Final security check for Xros Heart. And it is 2 KDP on just Shoutmon. Trashed. Now for 2 cost, the Bagra Army will play Buzzing Fist. 1, 2, and 3. The only target is Choo-Choo-Mon, the rest are trash, and they choose to add a Choo-Choo-Mon from the trash under their lower U to trigger a draw and +1 memory. And then for 2 cost, here comes their final Buzzing Fist. 1, 2, and 3. Well, they are definitely going to be adding Tactimon to the hand. The remaining are trashed, and the trashed Damemon is placed under the upper U. Again, memory +1 and a draw, such that it is still their turn. Now the Demi-Meramon in the raising area evolves into Chikurimon, and now it is time to unleash the power of U's Darkness Loader once again. This time, using all 6 materials from under both of them. To play another of the Bagra Army's 3 generals, the veteran strategist and blade master, Tactimon. At play cost 13 with 6 materials placed by U's effect, that's 13 minus 12, only 1 cost. On play, you may play 2 level 4 or lower Bagra Army Digimon from your trash at no cost, and they become blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. So let's take a look at the Bagra Army's trash again, which is now quite full at 25 cards. Considering the current situation where Xros Heart already has 3 attackers ready on their field, I think the best choice is 2 Mad Leomons. And since they have Digicross conditions, materials can now be placed from the hand. So, one of them, well, both of them are gonna gain Chumons. Turn over. Active. Draw. And Ballistamon steps out. But at the start of the main phase, they are not going to use Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene's effects, because the moment they add a card to their hand by an effect, the 3 Mad Leomons on the Bagra Army's field will trigger, stealing away a total of 3 memory. So even if they gain 2 memory from their double tamers, they're gonna lose 3 in return. And this is because even though Armed Mode has no evolution cards, he can still activate his effect thanks to Tactimon's effects during the opponent's turn. When an effect would trash one of your other Digimon's evolution cards, you may trash this Digimon's evolution cards instead. And although they are about to deck out with only 4 cards left in their deck, they still can afford to draw 2. First, Omega Shoutmon will attempt to go for the final blow, but of course, Mad Leomon stands in his way. At only 4k DP, he is deleted and saved under U, triggering +1 memory and a draw, but it is still Xros Heart's turn. However, Xros Heart cannot continue attacking, because if they do, Mad Leomon will block, their turn will end, and they will just get overrun by the 3 attackers on Bagra Army's field the next turn. And let's not forget, Blastmon is still waiting for his turn. So instead, using the Omega Shoutmon on the field as material, along with G-Greymon from the hand,
Omega Shoutmon!
Okay!
G-Greymon! Double Cross!
the 2 Golden Warriors will now unite into Shoutmon D-Cross. His Digicross conditions are Omega Shoutmon X G-Greymon on Digicross -3, so with 2 materials placed, 13 minus 6, 7 cost. On play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8k DP or less, and one of your opponent's Digimon may not attack until your opponent's next turn ends. So first, the upper Mad Leomon is deleted, and on deletes, it saves under U, triggering again, memory +1 and draw. And the Digimon chosen to be frozen from attacking is Armed Mode, because it has saved. And with that, turn over. Active, draw, Shikurimon moves out. As much as I want to show you guys the power of the new SR Bagramon, he honestly really doesn't do much in this matchup against a deck like Xros Heart that doesn't really evolve. So we'll put him in the spectator seat for this final turn. First, Shikurimon will go for the final blow on 1k DP. Xros Heart has no choice but to block. They block with Ballistamon, so Shikurimon is deleted at 1k, saved under the use for memory +1, and the final card in their deck. Demi-Meramon's Inheritable triggers as well, but they can't draw anymore, so it's just a discard of I and Mako. But now, the Bagra Army has seen their entire deck. For 4 cost, since it cannot attack, Mad Leomon Armed Mode will now evolve into Musou Nightmon. Can't draw. On evolve, you may place one Digimon with Nightmon in its name or Bagra Army in its traits from your hand or trash at the top of this Digimon's evolution cards. So it can now absorb a 2-Armon from the trash. Then, if this Digimon has 2-Armon in its evolution cards, de-Digivolve 3 of your opponent's Digimon. The magic number. De-Digivolve, de-Digivolve, and de-Digivolve. Sparrowmon is not a blocker, and since Jeet Greymon's inheritable only triggers while the Digimon has Blue Flare in its traits, the 2 Omega Shoutmons on the field cannot block because they are solely Xros Heart. So now there is nothing to stop Taximon from delivering the final blow. But that wouldn't be very fun, would it? Once again unleashing the power of the Darkness Loader with the 3 materials from under the 2 U's. Here comes the final member of the Bagra Army's 3 generals, the battle-hungry barbarian, Blastmon. At play cost 13 with 3 materials placed by use effect, that's 13 minus 6. 7 cost, passing over the memory at 2. But he has rush and on play, if this Digimon has 3 evolution cards, Blitz! Xros Heart has no blockers on the field and no security remaining. It's a direct attack and the match is over. The winners are the Bagra Army's 3 generals, with Bagramon watching over them.